I really wasn't sure if I wanted to speak on this, but I think it's finally time that I put a dark goddess perspective on the carbonation cult. Carbonation, when it first began, looked beautiful. It was a great idea. A bunch of young black people coming together to live in nature, to walk a spiritual path, to be one with the elements, with spirit. It was a beautiful, beautiful idea. I was proud of them. This image here, I remember when this video was shot, I was very proud of them. And it just continued to go downhill. The beginning of the end for Nature Boy was Hawaii. But before I get into Hawaii, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about melanation. Here you have Keys, or now he's going by Flo. You have Olmec. You have Tron. You have Nature Boy. You have his first wife, Yaya. You also have Velvet, also known as Eliana. This is really where it started to take a turn. And things were beautiful in the beginning until liquor got introduced. Once substance abuse became a part of Nature Boy's cult identity and practices, things just went downhill. And people turned against them. They had a lot of different people who came through. A lot of the people in this picture I do not recognize, or like they weren't there long enough. But from top to bottom, we have Tron. I don't know who that is next to him. Then there's Solar, True, Musa, Aya, Malia, Mama Earth, who was also called Sybil, who I always suspected was a plant and an opportunist. You have Kite. I don't know who the hell that is. Then there's Nature Boy, or Chief. There's Loyal. There's Eferu, Niza, Star, Syrian, Zoka, Mente, Caliber, Pice, and last but not least, Janae, or Neytiri, who I don't really want to get into it too much about her. I feel a couple of ways about her. I feel like she's an evil, sick individual and she needs a lot of help. I feel like she's a woman scorned, but I also feel like she was victimized and abused. But one thing I know for a fact about Neytiri is none of what's going on right now would be going on if Nature Boy had made her queen. And so her entire ordeal with going to the police was out of spite and anger that he got back at her. She went out there and said all kinds of stuff about him. And whether what she said about him was true or false is neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, why the fuck would you go back to a place that you had such negative things to say about it? Well, there's a certain mentality that comes along with being indoctrinated into a cult. And the first cult that any of us experience is this one right damn here. The first form of psychological abuse and cult-like behavior that we all have experienced as Black people is the Christian faith and the Christian church, or any Abrahamic-based faith, really, because all of them were in on the enslavement, the enforced enslavement and disenfranchisement of Black people globally, down to the point of calling us Black, which basically means that we are ignorant, without knowledge or awareness of who we are, and stripped of all dignity and humanity. And it's this cult right here that has made all other forms of the cult possible and even attractive, because Black people are trying to get back to our indigenous religious or spiritual roots and connection. And it's been so obscured. The truth has been so bastardized. It's been so plagiarized. It's been so manipulated and divorced from its African ethnic origins that we don't really know where to turn. And it's hard, especially for Black Americans. It's very challenging for us to come out of the cult that is Christianity, that is Abrahamism in any way, shape, or form, whether that comes in the form of Judaism, Islam, or what have you. It's not easy for us to break free of that, because there's a whole culture and mentality and structure and system set up to keep us in bondage to this original cult of Christianity. But let's go back to when they began, when it was beautiful, when it was just some Black people coming together to worship the fact that they are gods. Before the megalomaniac, the maniacal, egoic maniac that Nature Boy became, that Chief became, entered the room. Back when he was a master teacher, before he became Master Chief and Babaji and the Messiah and all of this crap. He spoke these things upon himself. He created this reality for himself. He called himself the Christ, but he didn't expect to be crucified? That was dumb. The women that are still rocking for him, I don't have anything negative to say about them. We all know what Stockholm Syndrome is. And this is just my part 1. Part 2 is going to be more meaty. This is just a brief introduction into the carbonation cult.